Hey guys, welcome to Bar Z. My name's Stan. This is going to be a standalone video. I'm going to work on the surface grinder. Some of you guys that have emailed me for squares and things like that, I'm putting you off, and I'm actually shutting the website down for a little while so the surface grinder can get some upgrades and some much needed maintenance. This thing hasn't cooled off since I got it. In a recent video you saw I got a magnetic sine plate, and it's a 6x12, same as the mag chuck I got on the surface grinder, but this doesn't have the ability to tilt accurately. So I am going to be fitting this with a sine plate. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get this over on the surface plate and evaluate it and see how flat it is, and if it's make sure we got a good solid base to base everything on. Next up, we're going to be pulling this mag off, and then I'm going to be dressing the actual table. I'm going to bring the spindle all the way down to the table and dressing the table where the sine plate's going to sit to make sure I've got a good flat base. I'm going to have to come up with, it uses a different type of clamping system, so I'm either going to have to modify or make new clamps, and then get the plate down, and hopefully we're within a couple of tenths of being flat that we can grind it in. You know, I want it as flat as possible because I want my starting plane right at 0, and everything else lines up from there. So I don't want to be off too much on my starting plane. So this is going to be interesting, but the top portion of the table needs to come off and be cleaned very badly. The coupling in between the motor and the spindle is bad, so it needs a coupling. And after I get the upper part of the table off, the saddle, I need to evaluate, underneath there's some bellows that protect the lead screw. This lead screw right here, I need to take a look at that. I don't even know the condition of that, so I need to take a good look at that. So that's going to be our project. Let's get to work. Oh, it's a heavy little pig. Alright, so first we're going to check the bottom and make sure it's clean, free of burrs, things like that, and get it up on the plate. And it's got some staining. I don't feel anything right out of the gate, so let's flip this thing all the way over. Whew, she's heavy. I'm just going to take a diamond card. This is a 600 grit diamond card, and to start, I'm just going to clean it with a little WD and just get the residue off of there from my last honing. Grab a lint free. That thing cleaned off. Alright, so I got a clean card and essentially a clean base. And I'm just going to rub it around and actually just be looking for high spots. I don't feel any. Anytime you got a dimple or anything, you're gonna feel it right away. Okay, so I think we're good. There's a little bit of dirt right there that came about just from me rubbing it around. It's just high spots and dirt. So we're pretty confident we've got a good starting base. Let's get our plate clean. Now this is going to be pretty challenging because we don't have much real estate on this plate, and I still haven't gotten my big plate. I just haven't found the time to get down to Standridge and pick up a new one. All right. So we're gonna kind of start it way out here on the edge, lift it up flat, and just slide it on. Is there anything you wanted to get under it? All right, it feels pretty good. She's gliding. You might have a high spot in the center. Looks like it might be kind of high in the center. We'll check it for rock though too. So let's get our surface gauge over here. Wow, this is going to be tight. I'm going to do it like this. Make sure I can get all the way out and get a reading. I'm going to probe down just a tad. Just enough to clear everything. But you want your probe as flat as possible. Alright, I think we're good there. I'm just going to bring it up about 2 points above the baseline, above the drop off, or you want to call it. Alright, we're zeroed. I'm going to come over here. I'm actually going to check it for rock first. And it's maybe a tenth. You're going to take my word for it because I don't feel like setting up the GoPro on that too. Alright. Yeah, she's out. This thing's humped in the middle. I am, oh no, excuse me, it's dished. I am 2/10 above zero right there. And as I come across, I'm transferring down to zero. This is my lowest point right here. And now I'm coming back up. And there I'm at 2/10 above. So I'm going to get a pen and record some of that. So out here in the center I'm at 0, and here I'm plus 0.2. Right about here I'm plus 0.1. Here I'm plus 0.1. And out here I'm plus 0.2. So that's a good 0. Let's see if we can sneak out and get out in the middle here. See if we get similar readings. Out here in the middle I am at 0. Wow, it jumps up fast there. That's a plus 0.2. Let's go here on the end. Holy moly! That's plus 0.4. Plus 0.4. Come back to my baseline, a 0 again. Here I'm a plus 0.2. I think that Harley's having a good time around this neighborhood. Oh, I jumped way up here. Plus 0.4. So she's humped this way too. How far over I can get. Oh, I don't really want to move this thing around. As far out as I can get. I can extend my gauge a little bit. Maybe I can get another inch or so out of it. Let me see what I can do here. I'm gonna have to re-zero and all that, but I don't mind. I'll do that for you guys. Alright, that's about as far out as I can scope this thing. So let me re-zero it. zeroed back on our base point. We're using this first reading as a base point. We're staying 0 there, and I can get up to about here now. And we're still at 0 right here. And I'm going to head down here. It's a plus 0.1. I'm going to get ready to fall off the plate here. So what we got here. Plus 0.2. So what we got here. I can kind of sneak around the corner here maybe. Here we got a plus 0.4. I can get to there. Whoa, that's minus. Am I tipping off the scale here? I must have been. Oh yeah, I'm coming off the table. Alright. Let me flip this thing around. Let's see what kind of readings we get. We know we already had a 0 here, so we'll go back to that one first. And reset 0 if needed. But no, we're still at 0 until I bumped it just now. What a wiener. Alright. Alright, we're happy there. Alright, so we know we got a good 0 there. There's our plus 1 that we already recorded. Let's come out here. Oh yeah, this corner is really high. This is a plus 0.6. So that's major. This is our highest spot right over here. And let's go and make sure these numbers repeat. That was a 0.2. I'm showing about 1.5. So okay, I'll call that good. And this is a point about 3.5, and I had 4. So that's believable too. So within a half a tenth of those readings from what I had earlier. So pretty flat. Definitely needs to be reground, even in this position here. But ideally, when we get this installed on the grinder, I want to see these numbers again, these same numbers within maybe a tenth, and then I'll know I got my base plate nice and flat, parallel to the machine, and I can grind the top and put gauge blocks in my stack, you know, without throwing off the geometry of it. I mean, if the thing was built on a wedge and my sine plate was already tilted, you know, right out of the gate at 2, 3, 4 thousandths, from there on out, using that as a baseline, then my sines are going to be off the whole time. So I want everything really parallel, coming right out of the start. And I certainly don't want to grind this top in a wedge in either direction. All right, so this has been evaluated. I think we're in pretty good shape. The top of the chuck definitely needs to be reground. Let's go take the grinder apart and get started on that. And so in preparation for this, before we remove the mag, we know the next step is the very next thing we do. We're gonna have to grind the table, and we're not gonna have a mag. We're not gonna be able to mount a diamond. So to prepare for this, I'm gonna go ahead and put on, right now that's my coarsest wheel. That's a 46J straight aluminum oxide. I'm gonna give it a real coarse dress, so it's got good holding capability. I'm not really concerned about a finish down here. I just need it to be cool running and be able to clean it up in a couple of passes. So I'm going to go ahead and change out wheels, get this thing dressed on the machine. Every time you change a wheel, you got an opportunity to get it on the arbor a little differently, and it could be running eccentric. And always go off your dirt and stuff from your last grind to make sure it's completely gone around the entire circumference of the wheel. Otherwise, you know you've still got a little bit of run out in there. So every time you change wheels and change arbors, make sure you make a full cut and make sure it's clean around the circumference of the wheel, or you still have a wheel that's running eccentrically. That's been my experience. That if you don't take them off the arbors if you have the luxury of having multiple arbors, you have to do very small cuts to get them clean. But if you do have to change wheels on arbors, they will require more of a cleanup. So every time you change wheel on arbor, make sure sometimes you have to pull 10, 12 thousandths out of them to get them to run true again and get that wheel clean and running straight. So we're going to change wheels, give it a dress. It'll be the last duty this mag has is as one final dressing. Then the mag comes off, the table comes off. It's going to go outside, purple powered, clean, pressure washed, and we'll evaluate the rest of the machine and get a good look at it. And then we'll bring the new sine plate over, drop it on, and see what it's going to take to adapt these clamps. All right, so let's get that wheel change down. Now, instead of knocking the spindle around with a hammer, this has been a pretty good method. Just take your wrench and put it up against the mag. See there, I busted the nut loose. So the nut comes off, then the washer. Actually, if you try to use it without a washer, it really plays havoc on the wheel. This grabs hold of the blotter and really twists up that blotter, and with the washer on there, it keeps the blotter nice and flat. And I haven't had any troubles. And I don't know whether it makes any difference, but I always run my wheels the same way. I always put the warning in the back and the brand name out in front. Don't know if it makes a difference, but that's what I do. And reverse thread. And we're going to put it back on this just opposite of the way we took it off. We're going to roll it over to this side and put it back in there. And now I'm just going to tighten it down. And we're done. Alright, so let's get a diamond on there, get that thing dressed up. Dressing to the left of the wheel center line. Rotating this way, if the diamond catches or does anything funny, spits it away from the wheel instead of digging in deeper. Always dress from the wheel center line to the left on a clockwise spinning wheel. I know there's some models that spin the opposite way, but in general, the wheels spin clockwise. Just coming down one thou at a time. I'm watching that wheel to make sure she's going to clean up all the way. I don't see any more traces of gray. Another thousandths down feed. Now I'm going to give it a real coarse dress. They also call it an open dress. Just kind of haul ass across that thing, and we've created a spiral on the wheel, which allows the wheel to load up and give a place for the material to go. Cast iron is kind of difficult to grind, and it'll fill up a wheel very quickly. So we're giving the wheel grooves and a place for that material to go, so we don't build up on the face of the wheel, and then we're grinding cast iron into cast iron and scallop the hell out of it. All right? Okay, so let's get some of this malarkey out of the way. Don't need that anymore for a while. Let's get our light off of here. And get the spindle up out of the way. Give us some elbow room down there on the table. And the reason I'm cleaning this top part of the table is Brad Jacobs made me feel really, really guilty. Have you seen his surface grinder? God, that thing's clean. Alright, let's get these clamps off of here. Get all the grunge out of there. Wow, that thing was really stuck. These are really nice clamps. Made by the O.S. Walker Company. OX New York. O.S. Walker Company Incorporated. Those are really nice clamps. Hope they work on the new plate. Nice heavy duty clamp. Really nice piece. Alright, let's put that on the table. That's a little cart here for parts on. Oh, this side's really stuck. This is where all the grinder schmuck goes. Wow, look at all that. Yucky poo. Alright, that should be the grinder base right there, or the mag base. Now when I seated that, I used some spray paint. It was a cold galvanizing compound, like an anti-rust. That was several months ago, and a lot of coolant has gone across this thing since then. So it's going to be interesting to see what the bottom of that chuck looks like. So let's pop that off and have a look. Find a low spot here, and it'll give you a nice cavity right there. Alright, lift it up easy enough. Well, this is a lot lighter than that other one. Okay, so not bad. I mean, you can see the contact areas where we spray painted. You can see where I sprayed the whole bottom of it and sprayed the table with that material. So it protected it fairly well. Got a winner there. Alright, let's get this out of here. I'm going to put this on the bottom shelf. Get the clamps out of here. And our table's next. And it's a big advantage to get that mag off the table. Believe me when I tell you that thing's heavy with the mag on it. Okay, and I've laid one of my trusty rubber mats across my table here. That's going to give me a nice cushion when that table comes down on it. Okay, we're going to go hard right. And pick this turkey up. Oh, that's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and flip it upside down. Watch all that junk come flying off of there. If you want to see the flaking, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to show you the flaking on that thing. Hopefully this camera's focusing that close. I got you about 4 inches away. I'll let you take a look at those oil grooves. And so you've got one flat way and one V-way. And that V-way doesn't have much flaking left, if any at all. She's pretty worn out. Alright, now that the table's off, I'm going to clean the general saddle area, but what I've done, all the oil passages and everything, I was worried about getting anything in there. I ran the oiler. You can run this oiler manually just by pulling up this plunger, and I ran it, and the oil ran black for a little while, and I just kept wiping it out until the oil ran clean. Give it a nice clean wipe down. I'm going to seal them up with some masking tape so I can finish my cleaning around here. I don't have to worry about getting anything down in the oil passages. This machine is pressure oiled, so I don't want to get any grit or anything down in there. So I'm taping up all these hard chrome faces here, and mainly just plugging up the oil passages is my main concern. So now I can continue with cleaning up these rubber flaps. I think I've got some extra rubber. I'm going to replace this front one here, and leave that back one off and get a good look down there and see what the bellows look like on this lead screw. Alright? Okay, so we're ready to drop this guy on, and I'm just going to peel up my tape from my previous seal job here. And I've cleaned the saddle, just got in there and gave it a spit bath. And I've protected these ways from any junk getting in there. I'm going to give them the last wipe here. And we'll give them another oiling, make sure I see oil coming out all the holes. Tells me whether I got clogged passages or not. And I'm creeping out in 4 places here, 2 places here. These 2 center ones are actually a drain, so it feeds up, and then this is an oil to waste system. It just floods out, catches in this pan underneath it, and there's a catch basin in the back. So yeah, we're pressure feeding on all, we're hitting on all cylinders there. We'll do a little whey oil, just for some extra good measure. And my table's already clean. I took it outside, purple power, purple solvent, and scrubbed it all down. And I got my the 2 ways here nice and clean. And I checked it all for high spots and everything, and it's all good. There's no burrs or anything on it. So we're in good shape. Okay, let's put this heavy tape back on. But there's your bottom there. The 2 ways are all cleaned up and ready to go back on. This index right in that V-way, and that's all it does. It just sits there. There's no gibs or anything. It's just gravity that holds that thing down. Now what we're going to do next is just give this top a gentle cleaning. I already cleaned it outside once, but we're going to give it a quick stoning and measure it, see where we're at with it before we start any grinding. Okay, so I've got this stoned down with a 600 grit diamond card, and got it pretty polished. It's pretty flat. There's rust and some scales and stuff that was on there from before, and I already knew that. And this is a very old casting, and it could have moved over all these years. Let me get that camera maybe over and down. Hoping you're not getting any glare. I don't have a viewfinder. This is a GoPro, so no viewfinder. Let me get this indicator straight. And we're going to start off here in the back. And I'm just going to bring the spindle down until we get a good 0. And that's James Green pinging me. Okay. Alright, everything's settled in. And we're going to call that a good 0. Let's come off and then back on. Wow, there's a lot of movement there. So we're going to do 0 there. I'm going to try to traverse here. That's a plus 0.2. Got here to the end. Wow, plus 0.5. About here to 0. Let's go to here. It's coming up again. About a plus 0.4. I'm not going to hit that indicator. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not using a heck of a lot of travel. I know I'm going against it. Wow. 2,000s. 3,000s. She's climbing hard. 4,000s. Wow, this thing's way out. Okay, let's get this. Let's do this one. Go back to center here. That is about 1.9. I'm going to make sure I hit my 0 again back here. Right where I was. Make sure something didn't move. Yeah, I'm back on my 0. Alright, so let's go back to this one. And I'm just coming up on that slowly, so I don't want to move that indicator around. So this is a plus 1.5, plus 1.7. Come over here. That's a plus 2.0. Plus 2.2. Wow, this base is really out, isn't it? Okay, there's a plus 1.8. $2.2. Let's get back to our middle. And another thing you can check is rock on the table. I'm pushing left and right, trying to do a teeter-totter on this table, and we got no movement, not in the center at least. I'm going to quantify my measurement. I'm going back to 0 again, make sure I hit my starting spot, and I'm back. Yep, I'm there, right there at 0 right now, right there. Yep. Okay. Let's come out on this big part. See how we do over there. She's still climbing, still climbing. So this thing needs to be ground. I'm going to do this big section in 2 pieces. So this is plus 3.1, 3.2, 3.567, 3.7. We got quite a bit of grinding to do here. Let's go over to the other side. 3.5, 3.7 again. We're getting up in the 4s, 4.4. Let's go out to the front again here. Still rising. So where are we? We're at 4, 5, 5.1. So it's plus 5.1. 5.4. 5, 6, 6.1. 5.2. 5.5. These are all plus. Well, it was just dumb luck that I started off there in the back with a 0 and everything else was higher. I didn't have any minus numbers. Okay, we're going to run back and make sure we hit 0 again after going over those 2 craters there. Just come off the edge gently and come back up on the edge gently. Off. Back on. I was right about there. at 0 again. So I'm calling all those measurements good. So our highest is way over here on this side. That's 6.1, and our low is 0 way out there in the center over there. So yeah, we got some grinding to do to get this thing straight. Okay, so here's a quick look at it. I've taken a couple thou out of it, and our highest number, let's see, 3.2, 3.1 in here. You can see it's cleaned up out here where we knew it was high. I think we were all the way out to 6. I've already ground away the numbers, I don't remember. But it was pretty high over here. This is our highest spot. I touched off here and started. My wheel's still cutting real free, so no danger of it loading up on me yet. I still got a long ways to go, so I still got about 3 thousandths to take out of it until I get down to here to my very lowest spot. And I'll bring it back after we're done, and we'll give the whole thing a measure and see how we did. And here you can see we're down to, those were our 2.2s out there. That was a 2.0, and we're just starting to graze that. And we got 0.4s, 0.2s, and 0.5s. So we've probably got about another 2 thousandths to go. The thing will be all cleaned up. I'm working both directions, make sure I don't get a hump in it. And yeah, we're getting real close. Here we're starting to get really close. I've got a 0 left. There was something there. I don't remember what that was. I think that was a 0.3 or something. We got our 2 zeros. There's like a 0.3 or a 0.2. I know this was a 0.5 out here. That's gone. So I'm sneaking up on it now, and I'm starting to spray with coolant. I'm just giving it little spritzes to keep it cool and keep the wheel running clean. And I'm only doing 2/10 down feeds. So one more of those, and I think we're going to be good. Well, second to my last pass. I don't know if you can see it, but I got some really bad scalloping, and the wheel is just black and loaded. So I had to come up with a way to hold a diamond without a magnet. So that's how we're going to hold a diamond without a magnet. Kids, don't try this at home. Okay, so we're finished our grind. We're pretty happy with that, and that last wheel dressing really made a huge difference, and the wheel started cutting real free, and you could just hear the difference when you got a clean running wheel. And well, with our confidence this high, we're going to just preload the indicator 1000. So we're up off right now. Let's come down and touch, and just preload just 1000th. And get everybody settled in here. Smack the spindle around. I went too far. Let's do this. Do it again. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, she should settle in right at 0. Okay. And I got the gauge slightly tilted so you can see it. I'm hoping you're not catching much glare there. And first of all, we're going to go, we're pretty centered there. We're going to run side. Back to our middle. And run it over to the other side. So we're within a 1/10 there. Pretty happy. And now we're going to move the table to the back and get on that second little beam. Okay, I'm going to run it to the right. Run it to the left. Back to the middle. And we'll do this front pad in 2 sections. Do it right about there. Okay, 1/10 below. Right up on 0, so that's a 1/10 high. Back to the middle, 1/10 low. flow. Let's get out in the front. Dead on zero there. Let's wiggle this around a little bit here. Yep, zero. Okay, let's take it over this way. Not even a tenth. What's funny is when you move the table really fast, the table actually it's kind of like a boat getting up on plane up on top of the oil in the waves, and it'll come up and it'll plane on top of the oil as long as it's in motion, and then as soon as you stop, you can see it just kind of sink. Okay, we're less than a tenth below. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to move real fast, see how high it is, and I'm just going to let go and just watch that needle just start dropping. Here I'm going to move again, and then stop. And move again, and stop. Okay. So whenever the table's in motion, it climbs up on top of the whey oil as it's moving, and then as soon as you slow down or stop, she seems to just kind of sink in there. So that's a phenomenon I think I'm looking at here. And the faster you go, the higher it climbs. So that's pretty interesting to me. And it makes you think about things on a micro level. Anyways, we're happy. I don't remember where we were. We were like 6 thousandths out or something, with this corner being really high. And but I'm real happy that we're nice and flat now, and I'm ready to bring over the Sine plate for a fitting. Now I am going to recoat down in here just to prevent the corrosion. This is just bare cast iron, so I'm just going to tape it around here and give this a coat of paint. I want to protect my freshly ground surface. But from my restoration days, I'm going to show you a trick that I learned when doing castings. Get this tape out of your way so you can see what I'm doing. You can use almost anything. This is just a spanner wrench, and after you've pinned yourself down, a lot of guys will sit there with a razor blade and try to trim around it. Just take a hard tool and just take it right down the edge, and your tape is cut perfectly, neatly, done deal. Except right there, making a liar out of me. All right, that's a quick way to tape off a raised machine surface that's got a sharp edge. I just thought I'd share that with you. Anyways, this is going to get a coat of paint before I drop the Sine plate on.